Hello everyone, welcome back to another pub quiz. I think this is pub quiz 8, I think it is. Kind of lost track now, but pub quiz 8. Thanks for joining me again. So I've got 4 more rounds for you. I'm changing up a little bit, not having a music round. Contentious. I'll understand if you want to just quit now and not watch any further. But if you want to actually look at the round, it's round 3. I'm changing it to basically quotes from movies. So you got to name the movie from the quote or the famous line. So that's replacing the music round. So if you still want to play along, fair enough. If you don't, all right, oh well. So round 1 is going to be on Eurovision, because obviously it should be Eurovision, not happening. Round 2 is going to be on sports. Round 3 is a film line round, and then general knowledge for the final round. So without further ado, we might as well make a start on round 1, which is Eurovision. Now, I do love Eurovision. Terry Wogan used to be the best bit about it, not going to lie. And it's a shame it's not on this year, but always next year. So question 1, Eurovision. Where was 2020 Eurovision meant to be held? In what city was 2020 Eurovision meant to be held? Obviously it's not, but what city was it meant to be held? Question number 2, how many times have Ireland won Eurovision? How many times have Ireland won Eurovision? Again, question number 3, Terry Wogan, love the guy. Obviously, he sadly passed away, and he was replaced by whom? Who replaced Terry Wogan as the host, or the British host, of the Eurovision Song Contest? Or commentator instead of host. Question number 4. In the year that Bucks Fizz won Eurovision, so Eurovision was won by Bucks Fizz. I won't say the year because it's not going to give it away. What product sold out as a result of Bucks Fizz's famous song? And I'll give you a clue, it's not the drink Bucks Fizz, but a product sold out in Britain as a result of their song. What was that product? Question number 5. In 2003, Gemini, great act, outstanding, seriously, brilliant music. And they're obviously, everyone remembers Gemini very well, brilliant. Anyway, they were the British entrant to the competition in 2003. How many points did they receive? How many points did they receive in the night? I'll give you a clue. I'll give you within 5. How many points did they win? Actually, scrap that. That's way too generous, giving you within 5. Scrap that. You've got to get the number straight on. Waterloo is a famous Eurovision winning song by ABBA. So obviously ABBA sung Waterloo. However, in what country will you find the town Waterloo? It's an actual town. Anyone who knows their history will probably know where it is. So the town Waterloo is in what country? Question number 7. So obviously, it's different to question 2 about Ireland, how many times they've won it. This is a different question. Which country has finished last on the most occasions? So which country has finished last or come last on the most occasions? Question 8. French-Canadian singer Celine Dion represented what country, or which country, in the 1988 Eurovision Song Contest? So Celine Dion represented which country in the 1988 Eurovision? Question number 9. If you are ranked and voted highest by a country, how many points do you receive? How many points do you receive for getting the highest vote in a country? How many points do you receive? I've always thought that's a little bit dodgy. Tactical voting by like Baltic countries and all that kind of thing. It's always really interesting watching those votes come in. Question 10. Again, this has always perplexed me a little bit. Israel has competed in Eurovision for like 40 odd years. That's because apparently it shares the same European broadcast rights. Even though it's actually in the Middle East, it's allowed to be in Eurovision because of the broadcast rights. However, what other country, non-European country, also participates in the Eurovision Song Contest? What other European country, a non-European country, also participates? Okay, again, there's no need for me to repeat the questions because just go back, pause and go back. It's brilliant. I love YouTube, except when it doesn't allow me to play songs. But anyway, moving on to round 2, which is sports. I'm sure you love this round. I mean, it makes or breaks your pub quiz, I find. I love sport, but I'm not very knowledgeable about it. I'm not very good at it either. So in terms of kind of, some people love sport rounds, some people hate it. So if we're going to remove a music round, which again, some people are good at, some people are not good at, got to stick in a curveball sport round as well. Anyway, enough about how to make a pub quiz. Pub Quizzing for Dummies. It's a good book. Anyway, question number 1, sports. In the 110 metre hurdles race, how many hurdles does an athlete have to jump over in the 110 metre hurdles race? How many hurdles does an athlete have to jump over? I've got to say, they're massive. On the TV, they look so small, but actually when you go up to them, they're really high. No wonder they always trip over them. Question 2. What horse racing event has recently, in the past few months, attracted a fair bit of criticism for remaining open to spectators despite the growing coronavirus threat? So what horse racing event remained open and allowed visitors to go? Apparently 300,000 people went to it. What was the horse racing festival? Question number 3. No sport round will be complete about questions about the Olympics. There's a couple about the Olympics. But in the Olympic Games opening ceremony, what country always goes first? What country always goes first in the opening ceremony of the Summer Olympic Games? Question number 4. The Nursery End, the Pavilion End, and St John's Wood Road are all linked with which cricket ground? Which UK cricket ground? So I'll say that again. The Nursery End, the Pavilion End, and St John's Wood Road are all linked with which cricket ground? Question number 5. You cannot be serious. It's a famous, I wouldn't say it's kind of the catchphrase, but it's certainly said by a famous tennis player. Which famous tennis player says that? You cannot be serious. Made a bit of a living on that. Don't know what he's more famous for. He's tennis playing or that. Question number 6. How many times has Sue Barker won Wimbledon, or how many times did she win Wimbledon? Question number 7. I remember this quite distinctly. Eric the Eel. His name's not actually Eric the Eel. His name's Eric, but I can't remember his surname. But his name was Eric the Eel, and he won everyone's hearts over in the 2000 Sydney Olympic Games for competing a gutsy performance in the 100 metre front crawl in the swimming. The world record for the event, so the front crawl, is 48 seconds, or was in 2000, is 48 seconds. What time did Eric the Eel complete his 100 metre crawl? I'll do that within 5 seconds. So the world record is 48 seconds. What was his time? Eric the Eel. Question number 8. What is the missing colour from the Olympic rings? What is the missing colour from the Olympic rings? Blue, green, red, yellow. What's the missing 5th colour? What's the missing 5th colour? So blue, green, red, yellow. What's the missing 5th colour? And question number 9. Which city has football clubs ending in Wednesday and United. So which city has football clubs which end in Wednesday and United? And lastly, question 10 for the sport round. Question number 10. The Calcutta Cup is fought between which two nations? The Calcutta Cup is fought between which two nations? Obviously fought as in not physical, or you could call it physical if you know what the sport is. But yeah, it's fought between which two nations? Obviously it's a game. They shake hands afterwards. Right. So that's the end of round 2. Were there any questions that required 2 answers? Yeah, so that last question, number 10 there. So technically that's 2 points. So if you get either country, you get a point for either country. So that's 2 marks there. So that's technically out of 11 round 2. 10 questions, 11 marks available there. Right, round 3. I was really in 2 minds here to make film quotes that are really easy, and ones also that were just a little bit hard. So I'm adding one here, just kind of to save any arguments. So you can't say I haven't been really harsh. I'm just adding one. So there's 16 films here. There's 15 films, and I want you to guess the film based on the line or the famous catchphrase or whatever it's called. So, film 1. You're gonna need a bigger boat. So I'll say it again. You're gonna need a bigger boat. That's the line. Film 2. My mama always said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. I would love to do the accent. I think I'm really good at accents, but every student who's ever been in my classroom says that I'm really not very good at them, which is probably telling me something that I'm not very good at accents. So I'm not going to do them here. Film 3. You can't handle the truth. I'll say it again. You can't handle the truth. That's from what film? Film 4. What we've got here is a failure to communicate. What we've got here is a failure to communicate. That's film 4. Film 5. This is just brilliant. Really good. I love this one. It'd be hard, but I do love it. But anyway, you don't understand. I could have had class. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody instead of a bum, which is what I am. You don't understand. I could have had class. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody instead of a bum, which is what I am. That's film 5. Film 6. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Film 6. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Film 7. Bit of a long one here, but I'm hoping you'll get it. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you, and I will kill you. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you, I will find you, and I will kill you. That's from what film? That's not an angry teacher looking for homework. Film 8. If you have a milkshake, and I have a milkshake, and my straw stretches across the room, I'll end up drinking your milkshake. If you have a milkshake, and I have a milkshake, and my straw reaches across the room, I'll end up drinking your milkshake. I'd love to do the bit after it, but I won't because it's a bit weird, but great film. Film 9. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too. That's film 9. Film 10. I'm the king of the world. I'm the king of the world. Said differently to how I've just said it. Film 11. That was film 10. So film 11. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. Film 12. Roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Film 13. I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. What film is that? Film 14. Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine. Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine. Film 15. Introduce a little anarchy. Upset the established order and everything becomes chaos. Introduce a little anarchy. Upset the established order and everything becomes chaos. That's film 15. And the final one. You are a toy. Said it in a slightly different way, but I'll say it again. You are a toy. That was film 16. So 16 films there, which means there's 16 marks up for grab there. Feel free to have a break or to pause me. Totally up to you, as always. We'll move on to round 4. No rest for the wicked. This is general knowledge, current affairs. Mainly just kind of general knowledge. But anyway, question number 1 of round 4. Which UK football player apologised this week for his second breach of lockdown guidelines? So he's breached lockdown guidelines before and he's done it again and he apologised for it this week after originally not really apologising. Who's the football player? Question number 2. How many land borders does Poland share with other countries? How many land borders does Poland share with other countries? Just changing a quick question there. Right, so that was question number 2. How many land borders does Poland share with other countries? Question number 3. Obviously, M&Ms stand for what? The M's in the M&M stand for what? I wouldn't have had a clue until I googled it. So there we go, there's 2 marks available for that. The M&Ms stand for what? I'll give you a clue. Think of who kind of makes them, if that gives you any indication. Question number 4. Cute one, this. What is a name for a baby puffin? What's a name given to a baby puffin or for a baby puffin? Question number 5. How many Grammy Awards did Elvis Presley win? How many Grammy Awards did Elvis Presley win? Question number 6. What is the capital city of Estonia? What is the capital city of Estonia? It's quite cold. Quite grim as well. But what's the capital city? Question number 7. What colour is a Welsh poppy. What colour is a Welsh poppy? Question number 8. In a game of chess, which piece can only move diagonally? Which piece can only move diagonally? Question number 9. In The Simpsons, love The Simpsons. Definitely Simpsons series 1 to 9. After that, it kind of falls off a cliff. I won't go into that because I could be here forever. But in The Simpsons, obviously Lisa Simpson is the eldest daughter of Homer and Marge Simpson. But how old is Lisa Simpson? She knows a lot, Lisa. One of my favourite quotes ever is from Lisa Simpson. But how old is she? And obviously the Simpsons characters never age. They're the same age throughout all 30 seasons of it. And lastly, this is very current affairs. True or false. According to the new government lockdown guidelines, you are able to meet a friend from another household and have a picnic. True or false? You are allowed to meet a friend from another household and have a picnic. True or false? And the random, completely bonkers idiot question you're not going to get. Well, you might get it if you like Harry Potter. So again, I'm running out of things to say that isn't too intrusive, but also gives you just a bit of a window into the world, and leads me to Harry Potter. So question 11, it doesn't count to the overall total, but if you get it, you get it. If you don't worry. So, who was my favourite Harry Potter character? Say was, still is. Who is my favourite Harry Potter character? So a character from the books. Who was it? Who was my favourite character? Okay, so that's all the questions. I would recommend having a break at this point, or breaking up any arguments that have ensued as a result of the questions, or maybe checking for any cheating. You might want to swap your answers and mark them however you do it. But right, let's just go through to the answers. Let's get them done. Right, round 1, Eurovision. I suppose this could be quite tricky if you don't like Eurovision. I mean, not many people actually like Eurovision, but they watch it just because it is quite funny. So, question number 1. What city was Eurovision meant to be held? Rotterdam. Rotterdam. Question number 2. How many times have Ireland won Eurovision? How many times? 7 times. I've forgotten his name, but one guy's won it 3 times himself. So there you go. 7 times Ireland have won Eurovision. After Terry Wogan's death, who took over the commentary, or the UK commentary of the Eurovision Song Contest? It's Graham Norton. Graham Norton. Question 4, if you didn't get this, you will kind of be like, I wouldn't have got it. But in the year that Bucks Fizz won Eurovision, and I suppose you have to be a certain age maybe to have got this. No offence to anyone who got this and is actually quite young. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You know, age is relative. Anyway, what product sold out across the United Kingdom? It was Velcro. Velcro sold out. Obviously the famous thing with the skirts, whatever they do. So there we go. Velcro. Number 5. In 2003, Gemini were the British entrants, and how many entrants to the competition? How many points did they win? Nil point. They won none. No points. It was very famous at the time. It was a bit of embarrassment. Gemini. Bless them. I think they were quite talented, but never got a chance to show. So, Waterloo is obviously the famous ABBA song that won the Eurovision Song Contest. However, Waterloo is actually in Belgium. It's a Belgian town. Obviously, that's where the Battle of Waterloo took place, or close to it anyway. Belgium. Right, number 7. Which country has finished last place on the most occasions? It's not the United Kingdom. I suppose if you want to use Eurovision as a barometer for how liked we are, apparently it's Finland. Apparently Finland has finished last place on the most occasions. Celine Dion represented Switzerland. That's question 8. She represented Switzerland. Number 9. What score do you receive for receiving the most votes from a country? It's 12 points. 12 points. And Israel competed in the Eurovision Song Contest. What other non-European country also appeared in the contest? It's Australia. Don't know why. but Australia compete. They're like a guest nation. Right, round 2, sports. So that is out of 10, that round. Round 2, sports. Okay. In the 110 metre hurdles, how many hurdles does an athlete have to jump over? 10. 10 hurdles they have to jump over. In horse racing, what event has attracted criticism recently? It's Cheltenham Festival. Cheltenham. Not good, not good. Number 3, in the Olympic opening game ceremony, which country always goes first? Is Greece. Greece traditionally always goes first to recognise, obviously, their importance to the Olympic Games history. So Greece always goes first. The nursery end, the pavilion end, and St John's Wood Road are all part of Lourdes Cricket Ground. Lourdes Cricket Ground. You cannot be serious was said by John McEnroe. John McEnroe. How many times did Sue Barker win Wimbledon? Now, considering she hosts Wimbledon every single year, you'd have thought she would have won it, but she didn't. She's never won Wimbledon. I'm pretty sure she didn't. When I researched it, she didn't win Wimbledon. Apologies if I got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure she didn't. Right, Eric the Eel, very famous. I mean, I watched this video again. What a champ. Absolute hero. That was the first time he'd ever swum in a 50-metre pool, I might add. He'd only learned to swim eight months before that, so what an absolute hero. Eric the Eel. So the world record was 48 seconds. This guy finished it in 1 minute and 52 seconds. 1 minute and 52 seconds. Reminds me of when I volunteered for the swimming gala in Year 8. I'd never done the butterfly, but I volunteered anyway. Anyway, number 8. What colour is missing from the Olympic rings? So you had blue, green, red and yellow. Black. Black was missing. Black was the colour that was missing. What city has famous football clubs which end in Wednesday and United? It's Sheffield. So Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United. Sheffield. And the Calcutta Cup is obviously part of the Six Nations. That's fought between England and Scotland. You can get 1 mark for getting either of those countries. So England and Scotland. So that's out of 11, round 2. So mark those up. Round 3, the film quote. So guess the film from the famous line. Film 1, you're going to need a bigger boat. That's Jaws. Really scary bit where he just comes out the water and he's like, whoa, you're going to need a bigger boat. Scary, scary. My mum always said life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Forrest Gump, of course. Number 3, You Can't Handle the Truth. That's Jack Nicholson's outburst in court in A Few Good Men. A Few Good Men is the film there. Number 4, what we've got here is a failure to communicate is Cool Hand Luke. Cool Hand Luke. Brilliant. You know, Marlon Brando's best. Number 5, you don't understand. I could have had class. I could have been a contender. Could have been somebody. Instead of a bum, which is what I am. That's On the Waterfront. On the Waterfront. Number 6, That'll Do, Pig. That'll Do. It's Babe. Great film. Number 7, If You Let My Daughter Go, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you and I will kill you. That's Taken. Taken. Number 8, if you have a milkshake and I have a milkshake and my straw stretches across the room, I'll end up drinking your milkshake. That's a great line by Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. There Will Be Blood. It's just an amazing final scene of that film. A really long film, but really good. Number 9, I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too. That's The Wizard of Oz. That's The Wizard of Oz. Bit of a put down there. Number 10, I'm the king of the world. That's Titanic. Number 11, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist, which alludes to Kaiser Soze, which is The Usual Suspects. The Usual Suspects. Number 12, roads. Where we're going to, we don't need roads. That's Back to the Future. Back to the Future. I Am Serious. Number 13, I Am Serious. And Don't Call Me Shirley. That's Airplane. Airplane. 14. Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine. That's Casablanca. Number 15, for me, one of the best films made recently. Recently, as in last 20 years, but in my opinion, doesn't matter. Trust me, it doesn't. Anyway, introduce a little anarchy, upset the established order, and everything becomes chaos. That's from The Dark Knight. That's The Dark Knight, one of the Batman films. And 16, you are a toy. That's obviously Toy Story. Toy Story. So there are 16 marks available there. Total those up. And on to the last round, which is round 4, general knowledge and current affairs. So, which UK footballer apologised this week for a second breach of the lockdown guidelines? Naughty, naughty, Carl Walker. After being caught again, he had a bit of a rant saying, when does his opinion or when does his feelings go into it? It's kind of like, don't breach lockdown. Just fess up, you know? Even if it is visiting your mum to get some homemade cooking. Anyway, round 2. Number 2, question 2 of round 4. This is contentious. It's not contentious because technically there's no kind of arguing about it. But how many countries does Poland share a land border with? It's 7. And that was Germany, Belarus, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Ukraine, Lithuania. And the last one is technically Russia because that little enclave, Kaliningrad, is Russian territory and it borders Poland. Used to be Danzig. Technically counts as 7. Counts as 7. What do the M's in M&M stand for? It's Mars and Muri. Mars and Muri. They were inspired by it during the Spanish Civil War. They saw English Smarties. They liked it. They're the sons of the man who created Mars and the person who created Hershey's. Anyway. What is a name for a baby puffin? It's a puffling. Puffling. It's quite cute, that. Puffling. Number 5. How many Grammy Awards did Elvis Presley win? A0, B3, C5, or D7 is B3. I'm just trying to recall. Did I read out those options during the thing? If I didn't, apologies. If I did, my mind's going. But yes, 3. He won 3 Grammy Awards. 6. What's the capital city of Estonia? Tallinn. Tallinn. That's 5 days. Yeah, I'm not going to get back. Anyway. Right, question 7. What colour is a Welsh poppy? It's yellow. A Welsh poppy is yellow. In a game of chess, number 8. Which piece can only move diagonally? It's a bishop. A bishop is the only piece that can move, which piece can only move diagonally? So is a bishop. Now you could argue a queen can move diagonally, but could also move adjacent and forward. So it can only move diagonally is a bishop. Number 9. In The Simpsons, how old is Lisa? She's 8. 8 years old. And number 10, true or false? According to new government lockdown guidelines, you are able to meet a friend from another household and have a picnic. Now, technically it's true. However, you have to abide by social distancing rules and stay 2 meters apart. Fair enough. But it is true. Technically, you can meet up with a friend from another household and have a picnic or go for a walk. But it's got to be out in the open. So it's not like, oh yeah, but I'm having a picnic in my bedroom. No. Doesn't count. It's got to be outdoors. So that is true. And again, this one doesn't count to the overall points total, but if you get the point, you get it, but it doesn't count to the overall number. But anyway, who was my favourite Harry Potter character? Well, my favourite Harry Potter book is The Order of the Phoenix. It's the longest. And I was devastated at the end of The Order of the Phoenix when my favourite character, Sirius Black, died. When he fell through the veil. Devastating. Devastating. Still not got over it, I don't think. Anyway, Sirius Black was my favourite character. So, total that up, that should be out of 48, because the last round had 11 marks available in round 4, because question 3 was 2 points. So, total that up. Thanks for playing again. We'll do another one next week before half term. That'll be Pub Quiz 9, I think it is. Yeah, Pub Quiz 9. But that's Pub Quiz 8. Thank you very much for joining in again, and have a great week and a great weekend. See you soon.